Hey there, everybody. Just getting ready to get started. Grab your smoothie, get your last pee in. We'll be going in a second. One moment, please. Go. And one more, and we are set. Okay. All right. We are live in all places. All right, 1, 2, 3, and right on time. Hey, everybody. I'm so glad to be back here in my office in full power. This is Dr. Brooke Goldner. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday, when I come to you live to try to give you any kind of education, support, answer questions, whatever I can do to help you be healthier, reverse disease, live happier lives, give you any kind of support that I can. You can't substitute for medical advice. Make sure you talk to your doctor before making big changes too, especially your diet, especially if you take medications or have organ issues that can be affected by it. But hopefully you take every action that you can. I can give you some support. So before we get started with all the questions, yes, we finally did get power back, and it wasn't until Saturday night for me, and it was Sunday afternoon for our parents. It was almost a week without power here in Houston. There's some who still don't have power, so quite a big hit from that hurricane. All right, so announcements I have for you. Number one is my classes, my online classes, the 6 steps to reversing autoimmune disease with supermarket foods. They are now currently free at goodbyelupus.com all the way through August 10th. I wanted to give you all an opportunity to watch those classes that have saved so many lives for free if you haven't done so yet. You can always get lifetime access to them on my website, and it comes in a really easy way to watch them where you could just click on one class at a time, stop, go whenever you want, all that fun stuff. But for those of you who can't or won't look at or own the lifetime access, I always put them on a regular basis just for free through a webinar app where you can watch the whole set on your own, have a watch party with your friends and family, and learn how to get well together. So make sure you go to goodbyelupus.com, or if you're on Instagram, click my profile link. If you're watching a replay, there's a link here with the video so you can do that. The second one I wanted to address really quickly, I know many of you have been waiting to hear more of my input on this. I'm releasing a video very shortly after this. That will be a reaction to the new news you may have heard about there being a new cure or possible cure for lupus. If only. I was really grateful that Fox News National reached out to me for comment when they were writing an article about this. And that honors me to know that I'm the person that they want to hear from. But I also made a video where I went deeper into the science, and awesome Leo has gone into it to make pictures that correlate with what I'm teaching about the science to make it even easier to access, to understand what they actually discovered and what they meant. I'll give you a very short version of it now for those of you who go, what? Cure? Who? Where? No. It's really amazing to me how the press releases and the media around even small breakthroughs in research will end up with articles that literally say, researchers may have found the cure for lupus, and yet you can present dozens of cases, you can publish cases and people having a full recovery with normal labs, off all medicines for years, and there's no press saying we might have found the cure for lupus. So that's kind of disappointed, but not unexpected. But what they did discover, and again, my video will show more detail into how these mechanisms work, is they had a breakthrough in the understanding of how a certain type of immune cell that's involved in inflammatory reactions such as lupus, the T peripheral helper cells, how an abnormality in those cells is being caused by an abnormality in one of the receptors that are involved in your immune system. That's what they discovered, and it's a very interesting discovery. But they did not develop a treatment based off this discovery. We don't know yet if this is the only issue in lupus or if everyone with lupus has this. We don't know yet if this will lead to a treatment, if that treatment would be tolerated. So it's just a new breakthrough in the understanding of lupus, or maybe one aspect of lupus. It's interesting. It's always exciting to get new information, but it's not a cure. It's not a treatment. And there's so much you can do right now. One of the things I worry about is people are just waiting for modern medicine to find a cure for something that you can do something about right now. And that's why as soon as I heard about that, I said, I got to get those classes back for free. Let people know that there's something you can do right now. Listen, I have been free of all symptoms and labs of lupus for 18 years plus. It'll be 19 years in October. And I did that with nutrition. After a dozen years of being sick with lupus, both symptomatically with arthritis and migraines and fatigue and rashes, as well as with things like kidney failure and mini strokes. So I lived the life of lupus, and medicines kept me alive. I am not anti-medication in any stretch, because I would be gone without it, without the years of chemotherapy and high-dose steroids that it took to get me well. And I want to make sure all of you are at least doing what I know works to get your body healthy, that you can reverse damage, you can reverse the different symptoms that you have. You can get yourself healthy by changing the way you eat. And I don't want you to miss that, because that's something you can do right now. And then maybe they do find some medical intervention, and maybe you won't need it by then, right? So make sure you do everything that you can today. And that's the way you can start. Go to those classes, watch them, learn from them, okay? So that's something I definitely want you to do. All right. So like I said, I'll have a deeper dive video for those of you who really want to understand the research and what it means. And you'll see it show up on my YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram after I do this. This was more important. We had this going on live, but we've already filmed it. We're just getting it pretty for all of you. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. So let me start off over here. Let's see what questions you all have for me today. All right. All right. Let's see. Okay. YouTube. Let's start over there, since YouTube always gets started early. All right. Jill says, I recently had my iodine levels checked, and they were in the low normal range. I take 150 micrograms of iodine an hour before eating cruciferous vegetables. Do you recommend checking iodine levels? I usually don't recommend checking them unless you have an issue with your thyroid or with iodine levels, generally speaking, or have shown that before. If you don't have any symptoms of thyroid disease and your iodine levels are normal, even if it's low normal, then there's no reason to continue worrying about it or checking them. If you have a high TSH, you might need to take more of it. But yeah, generally speaking, I don't recommend people test it unless there's a reason to, because of thyroid issue or a previous test. All right. Let's see. Lisa, can I have balsamic vinegar or similar vinegars without oil and GAIP? Goodbye autoimmune disease protocol. Is cacao a daily limit in flax chia pudding? Okay, so when it comes to the goodbye autoimmune disease protocol, you can use vinegars. What we want to do is avoid sugars. So balsamic is usually a problem, especially more recently. It used to be that balsamic vinegar, like the other vinegars, didn't have that much sugar or anything in it, was safe to use. Lately, not so much. They started sneaking more and more sugar into it. So it reminds me of back in the day when we would just look at the label for sugar, and they would put corn syrup in the ingredients and not mark it as sugar. And people were going, why are we getting fatter? I'm eating something with no sugar in it. It tastes sweet though, but no sugar in it. I'm having problems. And then finally they had to admit that corn syrup was sugar, and it shows up in the sugar label. Well, they're doing that with balsamics, but it's called grape must. Grape must is sugar. And so you might see no sugar added on the label, but if you turn it to where they have the breakdown of the sugars, where you see carbohydrates, which is broken down into sugars, you might see that it has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tablespoons of sugar. That's all from the grape must, even though there's no sugar on the label. So because it's been such an issue and there's such a wide variety, I'm not sorry, tablespoons, I meant grams, 8 grams of sugar. But the point is, it's an enormous amount. And for a lot of people, they're eating things with balsamic vinegar on top, not realizing they're just eating candy. So it's been more of an issue lately. And so I just recommend that you either use any other vinegar that doesn't have sugar in it, or that you check the labels and find a balsamic that doesn't have much sugar in it. So you're looking for something that's got minimal amounts, 2 grams per per tablespoon, no more than 3, and then you're not having more than a tablespoon of it, but more than that. So that's the only reason why we would do something like limit balsamic. With cacao, listen, if you are doing well, feeling well, you can have more cacao than that. If you tend to be sensitive to caffeine, it might be an issue for you, so just be aware of that. Okay, and let's see here. Okay, let me go over to the Facebook side. All right, let's see what Wendy has to say. Wendy says, my son's allergic to flax and chia. Is there any other option? He's allergic to cashew, macadamia, pistachio, hemp. I've gotten so much relief on the GIP, 10 weeks for my fibromyalgia, and I really want him to try so he can be in less pain from his. The fibromyalgia runs in the family. Well, I'm happy you're feeling better, Wendy. He's extremely underweight, although very fit. He's all muscle and avid snowboarder. Well, if he is really fit, I don't know that he's underweight. If he's all muscle and no body fat, then he might just be really, really healthy. So I always worry about when people say that extremely underweight. If you're saying that like he is starving himself for some reason, that's something different. So I feel like your son is a little bit more of a complicated case than I'm able to answer right here, because if he's all muscle and low body fat and lower than the usual weight, that might just be because he's an athlete. Many athletes that are, especially in sports like running, snowboarding, things like that, are going to be very, very lean, and they might even be lighter than usual, and it's because they are fitter and healthier. But then when you say extremely underweight, it makes me think, is he emaciated? Which is different than being all muscle. Being emaciated means that you have no muscle, you're just skin and bone. And emaciation would come from malnourishment, or like eating disorder where he's, not eating what he needs. But if you were emaciated from being underweight, you wouldn't be all muscle. So I'm not getting a full picture here, and I'm actually more obsessed with that than even the allergy to flax and chia. So one, we got to get really clear on his health and his food, and see whether he's fit versus undernourished. If he's just really fit and he's not undernourished, but you just, I don't know, you used to seeing people who are bigger, I don't know, whatever that is. Then looking at things like omega-3 fatty acids. One is sometimes people are sensitive or allergic to the shells, but not with the oil. So that's one thing you can check. If that's not the case, then you might see if he's able to tolerate supplements or prescription versions of it. There are, omega-3s in a lot of different things. I mean, he seems like he has a lot of nut allergies. So at least if you limit inflammatory exposure, so he's not eating any meat or dairy, and whatever nuts he can eat, if he can eat walnuts, that does have some omega-3, even though it has more omega-6, it gives him something and he won't overdose on the other ones. We might have to dive deeper though. If he's an athlete that's looking to optimize performance and reduce pain, he'd be a great fit for working with myself or with my husband. He's worked with a lot of professional athletes with inflammatory issues to help them optimize not only their nutrition for healing, but then for sports performance. So that's something to look into. Okay, let's see here. All right. Kathy, has myasthenia gravis ever been healed using a protocol? I was just diagnosed with LRP4 plus antibody. I'm in bed most of the time. Taking 150 milligrams of methadone has helped some. I can't see the neuromuscular doc in Dallas until September. I need help. I am so sorry you're dealing with this illness right now. I know it's an especially scary one. Yes, I have had good results with it. And I've also seen that while you're dealing with it, adding creatinine as a supplement has been helpful as well. I saw it being studied in the research. Actually, I had the idea about it being helpful, and then I looked for it in the research, and they have been testing it. And that's something that can help as well while you're working on your nourishment for disease reversal. So let me know if you need help with that. Let me see. Oh, I forgot to remind you all that the next Rapid Recovery group, where we help you every day with your recovery, where you get my help every single day with unlimited questions every day and coaching. That group starts August 16th. And so it is openly enrolling now. We are not full yet, although we always sell out. So if you know that you want a spot and you want to have the ability to get unlimited help every day, Rapid Recovery is the way to go. And it's where we have gotten our amazing results that you see published or people bragging about, majority come from that, because we help until you get better, right? So that is available for those of you who are looking for that level help. You just go to goodbyelupus.com and click on Work with Dr. G, and you'll see it there. I have all the free resources available for information. You got the classes, you got free coaching right now. But if you know you need more personal help, that's the fastest way to work with us right now. All right, let's see here. All right, let's go to Instagram. Let's see. All right, let me scroll up. Instagram's been active. Let's see. Oh, hi, Barbara Life Son. First time you saw, I saw you live. Well, now I see you too. Hi there. Hi from Canada. Hi, V Deans. Let's see. All right, here we go. DJ Carr, can any of the protocols help with degenerative disc disease on multiple levels of the spine? So the nutrition's not going to rebuild parts of your spine that have already degenerated, right? So musculoskeletal issues like that, where you have lost body tissue, disc, that won't regrow. What we have seen, though, is people who have these issues often have a lot of pain. And we have had people do our extreme protocols for that pain, or already had it and did our protocol for other reasons, like the Goodbye Autoimmune protocol, and had that pain go away. Because even though the tissue remains the same, there's inflammation around it that is causing or contributing to the pain. So whether it's back pain or hip pain or other areas where people said, oh, doctors told them they were going to need a replacement or surgery, they were able to become pain-free. So it's definitely something that you can do to try to optimize your body's ability to bring down the inflammation and see if that pain gets better. The other thing you want to do is physical therapy. The stronger you can build up the muscles around the spine, the muscles can do some of the heavy lifting of holding up your body, giving your spine less responsibility to hold you up against gravity. Your muscle tissue can help with that. It also increases bone density as well. So I would do that as well. All right. Jana's Bit 3, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Congratulations, Irish Girl Gone Potato, hypernourishing 23 days. Way to go. And then Mama Slaw says, if you're hypothyroid, taking meds, you still use 300 milligrams of iodine. Yes, that's the dosage for people with hypothyroid or Hashimoto's. All right, let's check over and see if there's anybody on Smoothie Shred looking for help here. All right. Let's come back over then to YouTube. Okay. Let's see if we can help Peter out on YouTube. He said, I have chronic constipation before the Goodbye Lupus protocol. Now I'm in week 4. Constipation's unchanged. I have 2 pounds of cruciferous greens, a gallon of water, a half cup of flax seeds, 5 tablespoons of flax oil. What could I change to solve? Okay, so if adding all of this lovely fiber and water to your diet is not helping change it, then one of the things I would do would be to take out the solid seeds and just use the flax oil. So that way you can use the flax oil to help lubricate the bowels more, because you're getting plenty of fiber to help the constipation just from the cruciferous vegetables that you're eating. You're eating plenty of them. And well done, Peter. So since you're already getting plenty of fiber, I would just start going up on the flax oil. So one, taking out the seeds alone might already fix it, because it just might be that it's more fiber than your already weak gut can handle. If not, you can keep increasing it. I had a gentleman with Crohn's disease where his primary symptom was severe constipation that had led to fissures in his rectum, very, very painful. And when he did rapid recovery with me, he did private 4-week with me, and he got up to 10 tablespoons a day of flax oil. And then for the first time since he was diagnosed, he had normal bowel movements. Now, most of us, if we had 10 tablespoons of flax oil, would have explosive diarrhea. But for somebody whose main side effect or symptom is constipation, he found between 10 and 12 tablespoons, he could have normal bowel movements. So that's something that you can try, and there's no worry about having too much omega-3. You'll get rid of whatever you don't use and see if that makes a difference. All right, let's see here. Sen wants to know, do you drink a full 64-ounce container of smoothies every day, including weekends? And if I get 30 minutes of sun daily, should I still take a vitamin D supplement? So I'm sure if you're I'm assuming you're asking for yourself, not for me, right? So whether or not you drink, it doesn't really matter specifically how much smoothie you have. The key to the smoothie is it's a way of getting people to eat large amounts of fresh raw vegetables that they normally wouldn't eat otherwise. So you don't have to do it all through smoothie if you don't want to. For me personally, I like having 1 or 2 of my big cups of smoothie, and then I eat a lot of salad at dinner time. And so I get it in all those different ways. On the weekends, it's easier to actually eat more because I'm not sitting here. So while I'm working all day, I just keep grabbing these cups here. Smoothie to keep me going. And I already did it. I finished my my extra water as well. So it really depends on you. So sometimes people will ask me, how much smoothie should I have? And I let them know it doesn't matter how much smoothie you have. It's how much greens are you eating? Are you getting at least a pound a day of the cruciferous vegetables or spinach? Then that's great. It doesn't matter if it's smoothie or not. Some people will make a giant 64-ounce blender and there's 5 ounces of greens in there. They still have more eating to do. Some people will make one blender and put 24 ounces of greens in there. Anything else they eat is bonus. They're crushing it, right? So that doesn't really matter. It's just about getting all of the food in. The other part of the question, if you get 30 minutes of sun a day, should you take a vitamin D supplement? Most likely, yes. But the easiest way to have an answer to that is just get the data. Get a vitamin D level tested. If your level is normal, above 40, it would be a good place to go. If it's above 40, then there's no reason to supplement. If it's below 40, then you need a supplement. Most people still need it. I honestly do not know where that recommendation came from that people should get about 15 minutes of sunlight a day and they'll have normal vitamin D levels. I've never seen it work in practice, ever. So for most of us, we spend our whole day inside, right? I love being outside. I live in Texas. I will happily read a book in 100-degree weather. My husband calls me a lizard. I just say I missed out on sunlight from photosensitivity for so much of my life. I just love to drink it in now, right? But it's still not enough. I still have low vitamin D until I started supplementing. So you just need to get the information, get the test done, and then you'll know the answer, and then you'll know what to do next. All right, let's see here. Thank you so much for the love, Philip. All right, let's see. Let's see what's going on Facebook. So let's see here. Let's see. Rachie wants to know. Hi, Rachie. Says, I've just been diagnosed with peripheral neuropathy with muscle wasting in my foot and all over muscle twitches. Felt pretty awful. Any tips about nerve damage reversal? First of all, I'm so sorry to hear that. I would love to know why that happened. So people will get peripheral neuropathy for many reasons. So sometimes they will get it from some kind of injury. Sometimes they will get it as a result of treatments. For example, it's very common for people to get peripheral neuropathy after having chemotherapy, for example. The other reason people will get it is chronic disease. So sometimes it'll be as a symptom of autoimmune diseases. It can be from diabetes. So there's other diseases that it can cause it. There's medications that can cause it. So I don't know. I'm kind of in the dark as to that. So one we want to do is we want to actually address whatever the cause is. So if it's autoimmune, if it's diabetes, then of course we're going to be really diving into doing the full protocol. Even people who we've had multiple people who have had chemotherapy after chemotherapy coming into my rapid recovery group to get themselves back, and who had peripheral neuropathy from chemotherapy, and it completely went away within the 6 weeks, as well as getting them out of the brain fog and feeling alive again. So sometimes people will get chemotherapy, they'll go into remission with their cancer, but they still feel terrible. And so we kind of help bring them back to life and it goes away. So if there's anything you can do to repair nerve damage, going into the full raw protocol, the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol, is the best thing that you can do. Now, if you're looking at nerve repair, you're going to do the full protocol, yes. And when you're tolerating all of those foods, you start working on titrating up the omega-3 fatty acids. So omega-3 fatty acids, which if you read Goodbye Lupus or watch my online classes, which are free right now, that omega-3 fatty acids not only create the anti-inflammatory immune system, but they also are the key fat that is supposed to be integrated into the cell membranes of the nerve cells. So you want to make sure that you have a good amount of omega-3 fatty acids so that you can get the inflammation down and that you can repair damage to those nerve cells. So you might need more than that half cup a day of seeds. You could try doing flax oil and add tablespoons of that on top of it, as long as your gut lets you, so that you know that you can get as much of the omega-3 in as your gut will allow to help you with that recovery. Sometimes people will use other things to help with things like twitching. I mean, when you're looking at muscle twitches, the key things that are involved would be your hydration level, calcium, potassium, and magnesium. If you're doing my protocol, you are hydrated, you have plenty of calcium, plenty of potassium. So then sometimes people will take magnesium to help symptomatically as well. Of course, any kind of medical treatment you can add to that. Let's see if there's anything else I could add. Those are the big ones that come to mind, and I hope you're feeling better soon. Take good care of your health, Reggie. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Lonnie says, I'm new to the group. What book should I purchase first to get going on this vegan journey? So if you're looking to understand the actual protocol and how it works, then the first thing you would do, if you want to read it, it would be Goodbye Lupus, is the 6 Steps to Healing with Supermarket Foods and my personal journey of of my life with illness and recovery, right? So that's the first one. The second one, Goodbye Autoimmune Disease, that book it does a quick summary of the food, but not the science as to how it works. So if you're really looking to understand it, Goodbye Lupus is the first one. It's short, to the point, helps you get all the information you need. Goodbye Autoimmune Disease really focuses on the emotional work most people need to do, or many people need to do, to actually adopt the nutrition that they need in order to get their health back, right? So self-sabotage, food addiction, processing your moods, depression, anxiety, dealing with trauma, optimizing your sleep, right? So all of these things are an important part of recovery. And so I realized after I published Goodbye Lupus that the people who didn't have the emotional components, they just followed what Goodbye Lupus said and got better. And then there was everybody else. And that's why in my rapid recovery programs, there's such a huge emphasis on it, especially in the group. There's a huge emphasis on doing daily work for your emotional health. And so the chapters of Goodbye Autoimmune Disease actually all come from coaching I'd given to individuals in my rapid recovery group, which I then turned into chapters to help the public at large. After the emotional work / sleep coaching area of Goodbye Autoimmune Disease, there's dozens and dozens of case studies in reversing different autoimmune diseases as well that people have really enjoyed and used for hope and inspiration. So those books really get to the protocol and then any of the emotional work and case studies. If you want to be able to dive in and just do it, my newest book, Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious, is my recipe book. So that one just came out in December, and that book has all compliant recipes for doing my protocol, and they're fairly straightforward and simple, and the recipes either come from myself or they come from people who've actually healed in my program. And so it is very unique in a recipe book in that it actually was created with recipes from people who have healed. I mean, it's really incredible. And people like it. Most importantly is that people like it and enjoy the recipes. So if you want to have practical things that you can do right away, that would be the book for that. I also, if you if you like learning this way, my classes online are a great way to go. My classes are, they teach what's in Goodbye Lupus, and they have case studies as well. So in reversing disease. So all those resources available for you. And I'm so glad you're here. I mean, good luck. And I hope that you enjoy it and that you get the results that you're looking for. All right. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. All right, David, could you touch on psoriasis and what success of Goodbye Lupus protocol shows in reversing it, and also regarding vitamin D, what is generally best dosage? I live in cold Scotland, and is 126 ounces a day required daily for cure. Been mostly plant-based for 8 years with the odd fish eaten and wine consumed. Also, if one loses weight, does that help with symptoms? I'm 184 pounds. Just in the overweight category. Cheers, right? I'm going to just remove this so you can see me talk to you. All right, so you're not just seeing like eyeballs going around here. Okay, Psoriasis. So we've had great results with psoriasis, although it is a condition that can be a bit tricky at times. Thankfully, at this point, I've done rapid recovery work with so many people who have it. I've found a lot of different tricks and triggers over time that have affected people. So generally speaking, people with psoriasis, they do the full Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol and they get better. Across the board, that's generally the case. I have had some people who have some sensitivities and issues we've had to work towards or work through because skin sensitivity can be triggered by many things. So for example, there are some people who are sensitive to sodium, and they have done some case studies that found that there are some people with psoriasis, some people where sodium will concentrate in their rashes. And so sometimes I have to play with the amount that helps them get the water intake they need that doesn't trigger rashes. Again, not across the board. Most folks can just do it straightforward, but it's something to be aware of. Sometimes there can be sensitivities. There might be food sensitivities as well. And so usually when I'm working with someone like in rapid recovery, we look to see what the results are. And if I feel like they're not getting results as quickly or as effectively as I would hope, or that I'm used to seeing, then I start to test different sensitivities to make sure we can find a way to get them going. You do want to maximize things like your water intake. So 128 ounces would be 3.8 liters for you living outside of the US. When you say mostly plant-based, I would commit to being fully plant-based. Let's do what we can to get you better. Most of the folks will actually, when I show cases like in my Goodbye Autoimmune Disease book, those cases are people who did the full Goodbye Autoimmune protocol. So they weren't eating cooked foods, they weren't eating other animal products at all. And when they went into remission, they kept the hypernourishment and allowed some cooked foods back in. In fact, the foreword to my Goodbye Autoimmune Disease book was done by Ellen Jackie Jones, who herself came to me with psoriasis, and she was completely plant-based and a plant-based teacher for other plant-based doctors, and then developed psoriasis anyway. And what I was able to show her is that, listen, first of all, you probably would have gotten psoriasis decades ago had you not been plant-based. But even with the lower inflammation diet, it wasn't enough to prevent the disease without getting the hypernourishment in. And she found within 2 weeks of doing the raw protocol, her rashes disappeared. So you want to make sure you go aggressively at the protocol to get the rashes to go away, and then you can maintain your results with hypernourishment and plant-based eating. Plus, by the way, she is a marathon runner, and her marathon results improved. She had breakthroughs she'd never been able to have before when she did the raw program, as well as losing some stubborn belly fat she hadn't been able to lose before. So there's many benefits to doing the full protocol, but most importantly, which is reversing those autoimmune diseases. Vitamin D, the daily dosage. So that really depends on your situation. So if your vitamin D is normal, then, they found maybe 500 IU a day or so might maintain that. I'm usually a bit more aggressive with it because low vitamin D causes problems. High vitamin D, we don't really see issues with that. So if I can see someone between a level of like 40 to 70, I'm usually pretty pleased with that. If you're low, we need to do a loading dose. If you're high, you might need to cut back. If you're right in the range, keep doing what you're doing. So when it comes to D, I like to really just look at the data and pick a dosage that goes with your situation rather than kind of a generalized recommendation. And does losing weight help with symptoms? Yes. So losing body fat, inflammation is stored with body fat. When you lose body fat, it is healthier for you overall. Being lean and mean. Okay, maybe not mean, but being lean is a good way to go for health. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to Instagram. All right. Noreen Goldner, your last name is Goldner? Oh, that is rare. I don't know that I've ever even met another Goldner. That's exciting. Okay, hi, Noreen. Let's see. If your family's from Austria, we might have like a common ancestor. All right. So Noreen Goldner wants to know, you mentioned flax seeds could be an issue, but not usually in menopause. But what about tofu for phytoestrogens? So tofu and flax seeds both have phytoestrogens. Phytoestrogens are generally very good for human health, especially women's health. But if you have an issue or sensitivity, those are the main areas main foods that you get them with. But most of us, it's very important to us to get those phytoestrogens in, especially as women. It protects us against overexposure to estrogen, which is linked to things like breast cancer. So tofu and flax seeds both have them. But if you're on my full protocol, flax seeds would be the source of them. All right, let's see. Lisa says cod liver oil or flaxseed oil. Flaxseed oil, chia seed oil would be a good omega-3 source. All right. Jilly Dilly said, what did you eat in Japan and how did you avoid losing weight while traveling? Can never get enough food when eating outside of my own house. So one, I'm at a weight that my body really likes. I'm very lean, so there's no weight loss to be had really. And I always eat when I'm hungry. So I actually found no problem getting food in Japan. We even found a place that makes salads where she chopped up so much kale for us and she diced it up so small we were able to eat. She gave us the spoon to eat it with. It was pretty amazing. We found places that had green smoothies. Almost every place had a salad that we could get with our food. We're not on a healing diet right now. So I also had some recreational eating. I eat some vegan ramen and things like that, but they actually had a lot of availability of really healthy plant-based eating. I never eat animal products. I don't, no matter where I am. So I'm not eating fish, even in Japan. But I found that it's actually very veg friendly there. And one of our friends that lives there told us that after the Olympics, Japan really became good at identifying things and understanding vegans. So what we found that restaurants actually had labels that showed pictures that showed dairy, egg, wheat on them with each item on the menu, which we don't have in the States. It was so cool. So yeah, we had no problem with that. But I just make sure I eat when I'm hungry, but I'm not worried about losing weight. I'm not sure why that would even be an issue unless you're just starving. And if you're starving, you need to eat more. So it might just be some planning too. We planned ahead. That's one of the things that we enjoy doing when we're looking forward to a trip is we look at all the different places that we're going to go. And then we look at all the restaurants in the area and we plan out the different places that we're going to eat. So we haven't really had any problem with that at all. So make sure you plan. There's also supermarkets everywhere, right? I mean, most places you're going to go to, especially cities, have supermarkets where you can just go in and grab groceries and keep those in your hotel room, keep them with you in your bag when you're traveling. So there's really no reason to ever go hungry. Even if you're on a healing protocol, being in a big city, there's no reason you can't do that. You can make sure that you have all the food you need with you. You can have it in your hotel room. So yeah, so there's no starving that happens. You just need to do some planning and then enjoy the fun of all the different locations you go to. All right. And then Danomite says, hello, my husband gets severe stomach cramps when drinking more than 4 ounces of my green smoothie, kale, flax, water, and pineapple. We tried swapping out each ingredient. Then try just doing salads. If he has a sensitive stomach, then you might just need to see how he does with salads and then work your way up that way. But I love that you continue to try. That's a good thing. All right, let me see here. One moment. Okay, I think the smoothie shredders have learned to go to the other page. Let's see here. Oh, this is so cool. Since you posted it in Smoothie Shred and not publicly yet, I'm just going to read it without the name. It says, amazing news. The tumor on my liver has shrunk considerably. We really don't know the healing powers of raw foods. Thank you, Dr. G, for your free contributions to heal us all. If we just do it and not complain along the way, I'm forever grateful. Like somebody that I haven't even worked with personally, I just get tears in my eyes a little bit, who just follows along with my free information and is healing a liver tumor. So cool. Congratulations. You know who you are. So yeah, I didn't see a question in Smoothie Shred, but I saw that. So I had to read it because I'm live and so it's the moment, right? All right, let's go back to YouTube. Let's see here. Okay. Tina wants to know if I've been experienced treating EOE, eosinophilic esophagitis. It's not easy to say. Try it. Now, someone recently diagnosed in the ER after treating an impaction. Yes, I have had limited clients who came to me to work on that. And we use very low allergy stimulating foods. We usually do low histamine type foods to work on the healing for that. Okay. Oh, thank you, Philip Frank. I love you back. All right. Let's see. And this kind of goes with what I just said, but Ruby wanted to know any tips for hypernourishing when traveling on vacation. Glad you're back. So yeah, so again, plan ahead and use grocery stores. Always have food with you. That's the easiest way to go. And if you're staying at a hotel, let them know what your needs are. The hotels, the concierge there, they want to make you happy. So let them know as well. If you need a refrigerator for your room, you let them know, although fruits and vegetables don't really need refrigeration when you're going to be eating them quickly. All right. Let's see. All right. No reason to add question marks before your questions. I'm just going down the list. So, but thank you, Conrad. He's trying to assist here. Let me see. Philip wants to know, when you heal faster with kale than cabbage, since kale has more nutrition per cup? If you were having limited amounts, small differences in nutrition profile can make a difference. But hypernourishment already has built in the plan to overdose in nutrition to maximize results. So when you're eating the amounts I'm telling you to eat, you're getting the benefits. And so if your stomach prefers cabbage over kale, you're still crushing it. So use the cruciferous vegetable that you find most delicious, the one that you're willing to do every day. Consistency matters more than variety, and any of the cruciferous vegetables is going to give you results. I have seen people reverse disease with just cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, kale, even spinach. So, really what you want to do is find the one that works best for you. It's already built in that the overdose is more nutrition than you need, just to make sure you get as much healing as your body can do each day. All right. All right. Grace needs help. Or Grace Abounds. Maybe that's not your name. If it is, then it's very poetic. I went to see a functional health doctor for my hyperthyroid and liver. Over the 5 months, I was able to bring my hyperthyroid and liver to normal, but now I have stage 2 kidney disease. Help. Okay. So I'm not sure what you did to bring the hyperthyroid and liver down. So for example, if you did my Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol, you can heal your liver and your thyroid and your kidney function will go up. So I don't know what you did that brought your kidney function down. Sometimes people will go on a diet that's very meat heavy, like a paleo diet, and then they, while the nutrition that, if you're eating a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, you might still have the nutrition you need to help one area while losing the other area. I bring that one up because I've had multiple people come to me who did those kind of diets at the recommendation of functional medicine and then ended up with kidney failure. So that's the first thing that comes to mind, is maybe you increase your meat intake. It could also be an effect of any of your medications. I'm not sure which ones you were taking. But if you do my protocol, the kidneys love it. So if you're in stage 2 and you don't have any dietary restriction, go all in on the Goodbye Autoimmune protocol so that you can nourish that kidney back into good health. All right. Let me see here. And let me just public service announcement, this little PSA. I have had folks come to see me that have kidney issues and then didn't make any changes in their diet, including eating inflammatory meat, dairy, and other things, because they heard me say that if you have organ failure, you should work with me to help let me pick out the right dose of hypernourishment that your kidneys can tolerate. While I still say that, when it comes to hypernourishment, you have to be careful when you are in kidney failure. That is severe enough to cause abnormalities in your blood metabolites. So if you look at your complete metabolic panel and your potassium is high and your sodium is low, then you are having issues with your kidneys doing their job. Sometimes people will have early kidney failure where their metabolites are fine, their electrolytes are fine, but you can see GFR creeping down, you can see protein in the urine. In those cases, they can do full hypernourishment, no problem. But I do want to say that do what you can. So if you're in that boat where you go, okay, I definitely have electrolyte abnormalities, and you want to work with me like in rapid recovery so that I can monitor them and optimize hypernourishment for your healing. Wonderful. But in the meantime, still do the things you can do. So eliminate the things that actually make kidneys sicker. So animal products, very bad for kidneys. They cause hyperfiltration that will immediately decrease GFR, increase creatinine, cause major issues. Protein powders, so processed items. So do the things that you can, even if you need my help in optimizing hypernourishment for healing. So I just wanted to put that out there because I have seen that lately where people have come in for appointments with me. I also do wellness appointments, and they didn't start making changes to their diet yet because they were afraid of, getting too much potassium or too much water or something like that, but didn't make other changes that they could have made. So I want to make sure that even if you need my help with hypernourishment for the reversal of the kidney failure, that you at least make changes in your diet, that you're not eating the inflammatory things. And again, if you go to my free classes at goodbyelupus.com, you'll see the first classes are on the foods that make you sick. So take those out, even if you can't do full hypernourishment yet. Okay, so I just want to put that out there. I don't want anyone getting sicker while they're looking to work with me because they're not making the changes that they can. Okay, let me see. All right, let's go down to Facebook. Oh, Lisa, you can tell if your flax oil's gone bad because of the smell. Yeah, it'll have a fishy smell. All right, let me see. Okay. Tasha says, my friend's doctor wants her to take Arimidex for 10 years. She's a breast cancer survivor. I want her to stay plant-based and no meds. What do you think? I think that is not for either of us to weigh in on what she does with her medications and her treatment. And I say that with love because I can tell that you love her enough to try to weigh in here and get my advice. I don't know your friend. I don't know her health condition. And so I wouldn't be able to make a recommendation that was ethical in terms of what kind of treatment she needs. So she needs to talk to her doctor to find out the risks and benefits of taking the medicines and the risk and benefits of not taking the medicines. But no matter what she decides to do with her medicine, eating a plant-based diet, especially a high raw or raw plant-based diet based off of hypernourishment, would optimize her ability to stay cancer-free. Raw cruciferous vegetables are extremely high in sulforaphane, which is a potent anti-cancer chemical, phytochemicals. So that's what I would say. I'm going to stay in my lane and tell you the nutrition that would be important. Getting phytoestrogens from flax seeds, tofu, those things can be really helpful. But whether or not she takes medication, something she's going to have to talk to her doctor about. Okay, let me see. All right, try to just write your questions one time because it crowds things up and I'm trying to go back and forth between all the different areas. All right, let me see here. All right, Dave, weight loss. Since 1982, I've had an ileostomy because of ulcerative colitis. Now because of RA, I started the protocol a month ago and I'm having trouble keeping weight on. I've lost 18 pounds. I'm now 6 foot, 168 pounds. Okay, so first of all, very, very important. Number one, I'm really glad that you're doing the protocol because it can help both of your issues, right? Let me see if I can fix this really quickly. I think there's something I can do where it will not make it block me out. All right, I'll figure it out next time. So I've had great success reversing not just RA, but ulcerative colitis with the same nutrition protocol. So even though you've already had the ileostomy, we can make sure that your colon stays safe from here on out, or what you have left in your digestive tract stays safe. I'm glad you're doing this for RA. Now, in terms of weight, it's important to remember what kind of weight you're looking to keep on. So if you are getting enough food in, then you will not lose any muscle tissue. You will not lose anything important. One of the things that causes an initial drop in weight for many people, especially in the first couple weeks, is inflammation. I have seen people, especially with things like kidney failure, lose 30 to 40 pounds in the first 2 weeks. And it's not body weight. Now, some of you are like passing out who are underweight. No, not body weight. None of it's body tissue. It's all inflammation and edema. So if you are inflamed, or your joints are inflamed, right, and you've got swelling, let me move this down so I can see you. So if you have swelling in your tissues and your joints and your hands and your wrists and your knees, and that swelling goes away, well, guess what? Your weight's going to go down. Right? Edema has weight to it. So sometimes people, oftentimes, especially when people are worried about being too thin, even though I beg people not to be, but when their weight goes down, especially when it goes down quickly, they assume it's muscle tissue. They assume it's something dangerous, but it's not. It's the weight of the edema and the inflammation. So body weight, muscle tissue, fat tissue, it can't be burned off that quickly. it takes time to burn it off. So if it's within the first couple weeks, most likely what you're burning off is edema and inflammation, right? The second thing that can happen when people are in the strict protocol is there's also some glycogen that can be lost as well. And glycogen is just a storage form of sugar. It can be rebuilt in a day, but that has a weight to it. That can be up to 10 pounds or so. So again, no muscle tissue involved, all things that are related to other factors besides muscle and fat. Now, if you are active, if you're exercising, then when you're on especially the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol, you're going to be increasing your metabolic rate, which will help you burn off fat, which will help you lose weight that you do want to lose, okay? And it will preserve muscle tissue because you're using it by exercising. So the most important thing to understand about weight is the right way to interpret weight gain and weight loss, all right? Whenever people gain weight quickly, they assume it's fat. And whenever they lose weight quickly, they assume it's muscle. And usually it's neither. Usually it's not the case. So if you did lose just inflammation and glycogen, it'll stabilize and you'll stay where you are. Unless you are exercising. If you are running, weight training, which I recommend you do, then you might lose some weight from fat loss, but it'll be kind of more steady. Not kind of a big drop all at once. But as you get used to the food, you also increase it. So a lot of times people think that whatever the minimums are for the raw vegetables, they just stay there even if they're hungry, and then they complain that they have to eat something else because they're hungry. You want to keep increasing it based off your activity level. So if you're 6 feet tall, you might need 30, 40 ounces of cruciferous vegetables, especially if you're very active, right? So you also follow your appetite and you eat when you're hungry and your body will stabilize. Okay, I hope you're doing well soon. I hope you're feeling those benefits really quickly. Okay, let's see here. Okay, a quick one. Does green tea count towards your daily water? No, you can have your cup of green tea, but it doesn't count towards your water. Let's see. And then Jen wants to know any high-level insights you could share regarding lupus vasculitis. After being out in the sun for a while, bruises form all over the palms of my hands. I'm wondering if that indicates serious disease, lupus progression. Well, it depends on your symptoms, right? So the thing about lupus is people have different symptoms that can show up at different times. So if you still are not fully recovered, right, then you might have photosensitivity, sensitivity to the sun. And so you'll know if you have photosensitivity because when you go in the sun, you'll see symptoms. And that doesn't mean that you are getting sicker. It just means you're not well yet, that when you expose yourself to a stressor, you have a symptom. So I hope you are on my full protocol. What I have experienced personally and with my clients, I know for me, I had severe photosensitivity. I always joke that I lived like a vampire for a dozen years, but I really did. I could only go out early before the sun got strong or late in the day. I would swim at night. I was very, very pale. I was translucent. But that was, I found a way to still enjoy life, but in the time when there was no sun. And even if I was in remission from medications, if I went out in the sun, boom, rash. So the remission was, stable as long as I got enough sleep. I did my self-care. I took my medication. I avoided the sun. Then I would be stable. But if I had any kind of exposure to sun, boom, I'd be in pain. I'd get a migraine. I'd get a rash. Once I reversed my disease over 18 years ago, I was able to start going out in the sun. And I knew it because I was living in Southern California now. I went from Pittsburgh to Southern California. And I started noticing that being out in the sun, I wasn't getting any symptoms. And finally, after being symptom-free for over a year, I think it was a couple of years at that point, we went on a cruise through the canal, right? And I was out like in searing hot sun, no issues at all. There were people fainting from being outside in the heat. And I was just fine. And that's when I realized, wow, I don't have photosensitivity at all anymore. And it's in all these years, I don't. Now I actually sunbathe, even though they say not to. I'm like, I have to catch up because it feels good to be in the sun. And I don't have any symptoms at all. I just feel good. Same thing has happened with my clients. In fact, I know I have videos out there, people who have talked about that, where they were able to be out in the sun again. They tested it slowly, though, 15 minutes. maybe 5 minutes, 15 minutes, then 30 minutes, then an hour. I know Rachel did one where she did her testimonial to how the lupus and Sjogren's went away in my 4-week rapid recovery program while holding her baby that she had without any negative issue with lupus in the sunlight in the park, going, I never would even be able to survive out here, and I feel great. So the good news is once you're healthy, that should stop being an issue altogether. But if you haven't reversed your disease yet, then when you expose yourself, you'll get a symptom, and then you'll know, okay, keep on trucking. I haven't reversed this fully yet, and get yourself so healthy that you don't have those symptoms show up. All right. Let's see here. I'll go back to. See what other questions we have over here. Instagram. Hi, Olson from Denmark. I appreciate the hellos. Wendy from Australia. Hello. Cassiopeia Love says, what would you say to any past recovery peeps who have gone completely backward? Uh-oh. All right, what would I say? Number one, I would say that hypothetically, if that happened, that they should be reaching out to me by text, because I give all of my clients, especially my rapid recovery clients, my cell phone number, as does Thomas, so that if you ever have any issue at all, emotional, physical, infection, questions, anything, you never have to sit through a live Q&A hoping I see your question, but you reach us directly immediately. That is really, really important to us, that anyone we've ever helped, that anyone we have ever worked with gets their recovery. And so we always promise you that if you've been through the program, that we're here for you. So that would be the first thing I would say to any hypothetical person who has been through our program and is struggling, is that you need to reach out to us directly. I actually just had that happen. Somebody who was in a previous rapid recovery group reached out to me that something happened to her, and she got sick, and she was actually asking me to do private rapid recovery with me as soon as possible. And me texting back and forth with her, I helped her realize that she knew how to do this and feel empowered and motivated to do it on her own without paying me a cent. So instead of me just enrolling her in the next program, I encouraged her and reminded her of what she knew, and she's already back on track. She said, I got her motivated again. She knows she can do it. She believes in herself, and she's going to do exactly what she knows works for her. So number one, you reach out to us. Not you, hypothetical person that might have backslid. Number two is remember that people who have done things like a rapid recovery group, who have had life issues happen where they maybe forgot some of those life lessons or needed more help. Or sometimes what I see is sometimes people will focus on the food and ignore all the emotional coaching that they could have gotten to make the change stick forever. You can always come back for a discount, right? But reach out first, because like I said, I'm not looking to just keep enrolling people. My goal always is every single person that I meet with, that I connect with, that I help, that they get their life back and their health back. And if you haven't, you just keep reaching out, and we keep finding ways to help you get where you need to go. So reach out by text. If we decide you need to do some more, maybe you make an appointment for follow-up, maybe you decide to do another round of group, but really reach out, because like I said, sometimes I have the ability to say what you need to hear to get you to come back to what you already know you could do. I believe in you and every one of you that I've worked with. We know what you can do, and so do you. Keep taking care of yourself every single day. And remember that you can always start with the next bite, right? All of you, whether I've ever seen you before or not, start with the next bite, right? You can control the next bite, one bite at a time, one meal at a time, one day at a time. Decide you're going to do it today. Then tomorrow, decide you're going to do it tomorrow. And then keep going until you get your health where you want it to be. Relapse is a part of recovery, whether it's food addiction or whether it's drugs. So you can only relapse when you've actually had some success. So if you're relapsing, pat yourself on the back. I've had success, or else I never would be able to relapse, and then start again right now. All of you that are dealing with that issue. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Nicole Coaching wants to know, would the protocol work for glioblastoma just as well as other cancers, since glioblastoma treatments need to cross the blood-brain barrier? Thank you for all you do. So much alliteration. I haven't had someone work with me for that specific tumor, so I need a result to be able to tell you. I have to have a result to be able to tell you it will or won't work. I will say that there's never a downside to doing it to support, doing the nutrition to support whatever treatment you're going to do, but I won't say something's going to work unless I've seen it personally. All right. Calderon, thank you for all the love. Let's see. All right. Let me see if I can find somebody else here. Natalie wanted to say, hey, Dr. G, I'm finally losing weight and working my way up to reversing lupus. Yay, way to go, Natalie. All right, let's see here. All right. Oh, here's one that's I have answered before, but it's been a while. I don't have a gallbladder. If you don't have a gallbladder, what would you do? Would you follow your protocol? Yes, absolutely. I've had many folks come to me with no gallbladder because that's what we do in Western medicine. If you don't necessarily need it to survive and it's bothering you, just take it out, right? I'll never forget my mom told me that when I was a kid, I used to get chronic ear infections. We didn't know it was because of dairy, but I'd get chronic ear infections. And so they put tubes in my ears, and then they took my adenoids out. And the doctor actually said to my mom, since we're going in for the adenoids, should we just take the tonsils too? They're not inflamed, but might as well while we're in there. My mom went, no, don't take anything that she is not messed up. Like, let her have whatever parts she was born with that she needs, right? So it's just one of those things. And then we learn later, oops, that was part of the immune system. Maybe we shouldn't have done that. All right. Yeah, so lots of people don't have gallbladders and they can do the protocol fine. In my last group, someone with no gallbladder did it without any need for any extra help. If you struggle with any issues, like your stool gets really loose or anything, then I would just spread out your doses every couple hours of your foods with your omega-3s so that you give your gut time to kind of move things through. You still create what you need to break down fats. You just can't store it anymore. So if you give your body time and take some breaks, maybe eat every 2 hours, that can help as well. All right. Okay, well, let me see if there was any quick one before I jump off here. All right. Elizabeth is dying to know, are any onions on plan on the Goodbye Autoimmune protocol? Yeah, onions are fine. Fermented sauerkraut, if you're having a little bit of sauerkraut, that's usually fine. Cucumbers, tomatoes, totally fine. Are olives limited? I mean, it just really depends. If you're working on your own and you want to see if you get better with all the ingredients you listed, go for it. You're feeling good, worked. You know, when people are working with us in private programs, oftentimes I will really be strict about limiting things that are not for healing because I have a limited amount of time with you. So if I have 6 weeks with you, I'm not going to mess around with a lot of added ingredients. Let's just get you well, right? Stick to the basics, get you well, and then add other things. If you're working on your own, try that. These are all great ingredients and see how you feel. And if it's working for you, then just keep doing that. Okay, everybody, that's it for today. I'm really glad to be able to be back with you here in my office. In the light, and be able to share with you and help you. As I said, keep your eye out. I'll be having a video about the new lupus research for all of you who want to see that. I did include in my link tree, which I will include the link after, as soon as we're done, I'll put the link up in this video as well. But in the link tree that's in Instagram and will be on Facebook and YouTube momentarily, I did put a link to the article that Fox asked me to comment on. My video will be coming that will give a much better explanation of everything going on there. Of course, like they asked me for a comment. I write the way I speak. I give them a page. They need like 2 sentences. So there's more coming with information about that. As I said, Rapid Recovery Group, August 16th is a month away. If you need us, make sure you enroll there, goodbyelupus.com. But in the meantime, use all the free information I give you. Get yourself well, one bite at a time, right? Go to the free classes at goodbyelupus.com. Get yourself going, get the information you need, and start. And hopefully when I see you next week, you'll all have watched those classes and you'll have questions for me that are really based off of really high-level knowledge from having learned all that information. Share it with everyone you know, and I will see you next week. Good to see all of you guys here. I hope this helped you out. Until then, it's Dr. Brooke Goldner from Goodbye Lupus. I'll see you soon. Happy Wednesday.